We're
We're
Sean
Sean
and Heather.
We had plans to explore the country together.
But after a motorcycle accident took my left leg in March 2025
We're more determined than ever to get out.
and tackle as many adventures as we can. This is our life, and I am on my last leg. Oh, hey, how are you today? You want to have a great conversation about how I became an amputee? Let's dive into it. Let's see if we can find you some advice, maybe some motivation today to make your day better. Hi, my name is Sean, and today I'm going to just tell you my story about how I became an amputee and the journey that I'm on now. Has some challenges, but so I want to talk a little bit about that today, but basically just tell you my story, and hopefully some of you can relate. And if you draw inspiration, motivation, or anything from my story, then I guess it was all worth it. So uh, I've always been a high school basketball coach and athletic director in Texas, working with athletes every day and try to be very active and athletic, both indoors and outdoors. I love to play basketball and hike and bike and water ski and wakeboard or paddleboard, anything outdoors, motorcycles, dirt bikes, street bikes, doesn't matter. Anything with a motor is what I've grown up doing. And, we get to a point in life where you kind of think you're invincible, I guess, at times, or that it's not going to happen to me. And the truth is, you could do everything right and not make a mistake, and it still happens to you. And is in my case, it's just the way it is that life happens because people are out there and they're crazy. Let's just put it that way. Um, but just a quick history. Um, I have ridden street bikes my pretty much entire adult life. I have put on at least 200,000 miles on a bike doing sport touring trips, riding all over, camping, moto camping as we go, and enjoy that with my wife, my son, and his wife. I've ridden years since I was like 10 on dirt bikes, just mountain trails, single track trails, ridden all over. You have your wrecks, but those are your own fault, and you deal with it. Little minor injuries, but always wearing the gear, all the time. Believe in that. But the street bike thing is such a passion. It's a therapy for me. After coaching and dealing with all the things as an athletic director, motorcycles, being able to get out on the open road, the back road, cruise through the piney woods of East Texas, just to smell the smells and feel the cool air. And it's just therapy. And people who ride bikes will right away acknowledge that. And I guess everybody has their thing that is their therapy. Well, that was mine. So let's go to the beginning here. Was just living my life, enjoying. So on March 22nd, 2025, so I'm just coming up on my year anniversary here, I was just minding my own business. I was out for a ride Saturday afternoon, beautiful weather in East Texas, and was coming home on a 4-lane divided highway. Nobody on my side of the highway, really none on the other side, but no cars around me in front or behind, and could see none on the other side of the divided highway. Just cruising along 70 miles an hour, listening to music and enjoying the scenery, and was about 30 miles from home. And I saw a car coming from the other side divided highway, saw a white car coming, and you acknowledge the car, uh, even though it's a divided highway, you acknowledge it, and then it kind of gets to here, and it's again, it's going to pass. It's out of your thinking at that point. But at the last minute, I remember just seeing just a glimpse of something different. Instead of it passing by my peripheral, I saw it like change shape. And as I just turned my head to look, and I saw that the car had quickly decelerated and turned in front. It was turning left and was going to cross my 2 lanes of travel. And that's whenever I realized this isn't good. And she actually didn't yield, didn't stop. She just came right on across, and just with the angles and the physics, and I'm no math major, I can't tell you, but at 70 mile an hour in that short amount of space, there was just nowhere I could go. I remember uh, getting as far off to the right as I could. I tried to use every bit of pavement. I even, at the last second, I think I accelerated maybe because there were no skid marks. So I know I didn't hit my brakes. Um, I think I accelerated hoping to get past it, but at the very last second, I mean, I just saw that bumper coming, and I just braced for what I knew was about to be a bad deal. Um, they say your life flashes before your eyes in a situation like that. I don't know that that's exactly what happened, but I can tell you this. Um, I had a moment of like, wow, this stinks. Um, this is going to hurt, but I wasn't scared at all. There was this peace. There was this feeling that it was like God was saying, "I got you. Don't worry." And I really honestly had peace that it was going to be okay no matter what happened. But the impact and the sound was horrific. I'll never forget the sound. Um, I can't describe it, but just crunching of metal and other stuff. And then I really don't know what happened from there. Um, if you could imagine taking your GoPro or your phone with the video camera on and just throw it and then watch the footage, that's really what it looked like. I just remember seeing everything up like this, just in a tumble, and was not knocked out, was not incoherent in any sense. I just couldn't tell which was up and which was down for probably what was a split second. It felt like minutes. But whenever I finally, everything stopped, then I was on my back in the ditch. I remember being in a bunch of thorns. It was bushes and thorns, which is probably better than going down the asphalt highway. Um, but I was on my back, and then things were just kind of quiet, except for my music. And even though my bike was way back over there, I had on my earbuds and Bluetooth. And the irony of the whole thing is, I was listening to Dire Straits, "The Walk of Life." If that's not ironic, I don't know what is. Uh, the Walk of Life, which we will get to here shortly. And I immediately took my helmet off and just carefully, because I felt my neck, and I moved a little bit. I was like, okay, my neck's good. I threw my helmet off. And then as things were quiet, then I said, I need to assess myself. And I started assessing, okay, everything feels good, neck, back, those feel good. My shoulder was really hurting, but I could tell the difference from being in athletics between bone and muscle. And it wasn't bone, it was just sore, like really sore. I couldn't lift it. And to be honest, I can still barely lift it. I'm getting better, but I could tell it was a tear. It wasn't a bone break. Uh, and again, internally started thinking, am I okay? Do I have any real pain? And I felt through everything, and I was like, I think I'm good. I moved both legs, and I was like, wow, I think I'm good. And I kind of started celebrating. I was like, I'm good. So I rolled over onto all fours. I put my hands on the floor, put my right foot into the ground, and stood up. And then when I took a step, I went right over. And then I knew immediately, I was like, oh, this sucks. Um, I knew exactly what happened. So I rolled over to my back, got on my back, and I immediately started compressing that femoral artery. And I could see my leg below my knee. I could, not to be too graphic, and I don't mean to make light of this. Listen, everybody's sensitivity is different, and I want to be sensitive to that. But I have a high pain tolerance. I have a high gore tolerance, or whatever you want to call it. Those things don't freak me out. And I mean, I looked, and I could see that my leg was gone, and there were, for better lack of a better term, jerky. There was just some shreds hanging down. I knew that I had to control bleeding, and so right away I just started squeezing the femoral artery. What was amazing is that I had great mental clarity. My adrenaline maybe was high, but I was in no way in shock or anything like that. I was able, which I think was sent from God. I think that honestly, I was given that in the moment, and proceeded to call 911. Called my son, who I was supposed to meet just shortly, 30 minutes later for dinner. And I called my wife who was out of town. And it was funny. I tried to be very, you know, uh, I wanted to be settling for them that it's okay. It's going to be okay, one way or another. And so I think I told both of them, hey, I had a little accident, but don't worry, I'm okay. I'm just a foot shorter. And they were like, oh no, they knowing what happened. So, uh, but I was able to somewhat control the bleeding by just squeezing down hard in that groin and that femoral artery until a car came by. And interesting, had a group of young men, high school probably aged men, boys who were going to a wedding, and they were all dressed up, and one of them had a tie on. And I said, hey, I need that tie, brother. If you can help me, can I have your tie? And we tied it around, and I said, go get a stick. And we started cranking a tourniquet out of his tie until EMS could arrive. And then the local fire department showed up. Very, very thankful for them. They showed up, got another tourniquet on me. Um, and I feel bad. One young lady, it was her first day on the job as a volunteer fireman, and her job was to go and get my leg off the highway because it was severed immediately. And she had to go on her first day and pick up my leg and bring it back just in case. I mean, just in case they needed it. So kudos to Miss Tarina. She was awesome. Sorry to break you in that way. But we got that second tourniquet on there. And then when DPS showed up, they put a third tourniquet, and they put a tourniquet from uh, whatever. I mean, I'd say the tourniquet from hell, but it was probably from heaven because it obviously saved my life. And that was the only time that I really, really began to feel pain, was that tourniquet, because it was so tight. And I said, please, could we loosen that? And obviously the answer was no, sir. You are still bleeding. And so we hadn't completely controlled bleeding. And I say all that to say this: was airlifted by helicopter to Tyler, Texas, to the trauma center, and there underwent 2 surgeries. And it was there that my wife got in. She'd been out of town visiting family, and she caught a flight back quickly and got to me the next morning. My son came and stayed with me that night, both sons actually, and it was the next day that my wife started begin to telling me that I didn't look right, and started talking to the doctors, and they said, well, we checked, and his levels seemed to be good, but after a surgery and then a second surgery the next day, my wife just continued to say, you don't look good, and you don't. I knew I was loopy. I did know I was loopy. Of course, I was on medication, and that's what I attributed it to, was just it's got to be medication. But she said, your color's bad, your lips are blue, and of course she knows me better than they do, and she just kept pushing. And finally, they said, let's take a look, and they tested me again. Then all of a sudden, there began a little more concern, and the doctor came in and said, we're in a problem. You're down to 4 units of blood. And the way I understand, I'm no medical person, but the average male adult has between like 11 and 13 units of blood in their body. I was down to 4. And so cognitive thinking was tough. Anytime I moved, then everything just moved on me. My eyes were crazy. I could see them just bouncing like this. And I even asked my wife, I said, look at my eyes. What's going on? And she was like, they're going crazy. And anytime I tried to get up, or if I went to the bathroom, she helped me get up on the walker, things just spun. And so we knew I was in trouble. They immediately came in and started doing blood transfusions. And so, yeah, I took blood transfusions for the next day or so to get my levels back up. And then, yeah, so below the knee amputee, transtibial. Mine was actually unique because I broke my fibula off right at the fibula head, so right here, and it pulled the bone out of the knee, and so from here down is just so tapered and small. I only have the tibia bone, so my residual limb is very thin, very weird shaped, which creates some issues. But my prosthetist, Rogue Prosthetics, has been absolutely phenomenal in working with solutions, how to get that prosthetic to fit and work good. And so I'm still, I go into another test socket. This is a test now, but I actually have a new one that I'll get in here in a couple of days, and then into another carbon fiber. And we're just playing with ideas right now. One of the best things that we've done is I got the EthnoCare overlay sleeve, which is um, an air valve system, which you can see here, it's an air valve. And so I can simply pump it, and it takes up to 15 ply. So I can go from literally 0 to 15 ply just by pumping, and you can let air out. And so that's been a game changer because I'm terrible at figuring out my sock ply. And again, I know I'm new in it. I'm only 11 months in, but I'm terrible at that. Having to carry a bag, having to have the right socks, and with my weird leg shape, very thin on the bottom, and then having to have it also ply at the top with leg volume changes. I was having to cut socks at the bottom to add more socks on the bottom than on the top so that it would fit good. And with the fibula head being very sensitive, I couldn't have too much sock up there. So just getting that combination right every day. And with my job working remote now, I'm in sports tech, and I work remote, and I do a lot of traveling, and I walk through airports, and I'm on the basketball court with universities and high schools. I just, taking that time to stop and sit down and put on a cut sock and then stand up and try it. That's not it. Take it off, sit down, put on a full sock, take off a cut sock or whatever. Trying to figure out that change um, just takes too long, and the trial and error was horrible. And so when I found the EthnoCare, I thought it's worth the money to try. If it doesn't work, chalk it up as wisdom. If it does work, game changer. And so far, I mean, knock on wood, it is a game changer because I can adjust it with my volume change throughout the day and find comfort in about 10 seconds. So it really, really is good. I would highly recommend it to any amputees. Uh, I think mental health care. I think one of the things I want to talk about as I close this part up for people is that do I have dark days? Sure, I have. I have been angry. I've been frustrated. I've been sad. I feel like that something was taken from me that wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. Uh, but at the same time, uh, life happens, and the fact that I have both arms to use and work, work remote, and I can go on the basketball floor, shoot a basketball, I can throw a ball, whatever. I can ride a bike. There's so many things that I can still do. I'm not internally damaged where I was, you know, having having to have surgeries, thinking about all the things that could have been. And I'm not prioritizing or diminishing anyone's disability to say that one is worse than another or better than another. I'm not at all. Uh, for me personally, for my active lifestyle, I came out as good as I really honestly could hope to after being slammed by a car at 70 mile an hour. Uh, and so, again, I don't want to make light of it, but I also know how blessed I am that I came out pretty good. And the mental health side of it is that I've had those dark days where I feel cheated, and the depression comes in there. Phantom pains, as those things take over, and it's a mental battle to overcome the phantom pain, that feeling your foot that's not there, feels like your toes are crinkling up like this, or you get cramps in the arch of your foot that's not there, uh, or just electricity shooting out your residual limb. Feels like you could be a laser beam. Those things are very real that people can't understand. It's hard to explain, but I was on medication, the different medications for it, gabapentin, whatever. There was another one, pregabalin. They just didn't work for me. It made my mind foggy. I didn't like the short-term memory loss. I knew it made me different than who I am, and I just didn't want to do it. And so talked to my doctor, and we just micro, or whatever you call it, mini dose down. And he said, don't quit cold turkey, but that can harm your health. But we dosed down to get away from that until I just was done, and never felt better. Um, and just know that there is hope and there is life, man. There's so many things that we can do, no matter what the disability is, what the impairment or the amputation. There is a quality of life that is there. So uh, find your quality, whatever it is. There are things you can do, and I believe get outside, get into the sunshine, see the blue sky, the green grass, smell the air, feel the ground. All of that matters, and I believe in a spiritual side of that. Again, how much weight do you put in that? I put fully my weight in it. I know the strength that I get out of that. Asking for strength and asking for peace and asking for forgiveness. That's a big one. Oh man, that's a big one. To ask to forgive the person who hit you and was at fault. Um, I have no complaints whatsoever that I can claim. Um, God met all of our needs and paid all of our bills. So, but there is a real side to the mental health side, and I want to be sensitive to that and just tell you that you can do this. Maybe not in your own strength. You do have more strength in you than you know. Our minds are more powerful than we really ever tap. Uh, and I've been playing with some of that of trying to really focus in on stopping the phantom pain and just try to really think about it's not real. Stop, and it does help. I pray about it. I meditate on the fact that my strength has to come from somewhere else, and it does. Uh, so I would implore you to look into that. It is a real thing, but you're not alone. And my story is my story. It's not anybody else's, and I can't compare to what a more severe injury. You know what people tell me are more severe. I know mine's mine. It's enough. Yours is yours. It's enough. We wish it didn't happen, but it did. And so, guess what? We can pout about it and stay in bed and be blue and depressed, but that only hurts us. The world continues to move on. So, guess what? Get up, get going, get outside, find your way to be active today, and you will make it. And every day is going to get better. I believe in you. And so, every day we got to keep moving forward. Let my story encourage you, let my story maybe help you and motivate you. But again, I don't think there's any one worse or better than the other. It's all just circumstance and things that happen for who can explain why. All we can explain is, or all we can affect is, make something beautiful out of it. And I believe that, that's what we have to do. Let's make something beautiful out of it today and let's inspire others. Let's get up and get going, get moving. Just get moving today. Be a little better than yesterday. You can. But listen, you have to do it on your terms. You can't let other people tell you, what's right for you or how you should feel. You feel how you feel, but you are tougher, you are stronger, and you are able, much more able than you think, if you put your mind to it. You can do this. And so I believe in you and I'm pulling for you. And one last word of advice I want to give is if you're struggling with your prosthetics, if you're struggling with getting into a prosthetic or onto your feet, or you've been an amputee for years, but you're struggling with your prosthetics, hey, get a new prosthetics doctor, get a new prosthetician, if that's the word. Uh, because what I've learned in a short 11 months, and I'm so blessed, is that I found one who thinks outside the box, cares about people more than the insurance payoff and the profit margin. I found my prosthetist, she cares more about people, getting them going again, getting them moving again, than she does the bottom line. And that's, maybe not the business model to become a millionaire. It is the business model to make a difference in this world. And so I'm very thankful for Sherry and Rock at Rogue. Uh, Find yours, because I hear so many horror stories about these high profile, large corporation, clinic run prosthetist office. And I hear stories of people who are waiting weeks and weeks to get an adjustment when they're in pain, or months and months to get their prosthetic because their insurance hasn't been approved. Um, Man, go find your rogue today, and I hope that you can get a difference, because you're not meant to live in pain. So find yours today. I want to thank you for taking time to listen to an old bald handicapped guy, and I say that jokingly. I don't believe I'm handicapped. I don't believe I'm challenged. I believe I'm just in a circumstance that is unlike someone else's. Uh, there are, I was one of them. I was a person who had two arms, two legs, everything working fine, and maybe not capitalizing on my true potential. Excuse me. Uh, so make sure that whatever you are dealing with, reach your full potential. Go for it. Become great. Make today great. I'm behind you. You have all the strength you need. Go get it. Go find it. Let's get moving. Let's make today beautiful. And let's make a difference in the world for someone else, because someone's watching you to see how you're responding to what you've been dealt. Don't look inward. Don't look at yourself and start thinking that you've got it so bad. There's always somebody worse off. Look around you. Look at someone who needs your help, and in the return, you'll find that it helps you whenever you give them that smile, that help, that advice, whatever it is. You'll find that it comes back to you. I want to just challenge you today. Get moving. We're in this together, and we can make it. Thanks so much. Remember, I'm on my last leg.